Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jordan, also known as J-Monster. You are watching the official 3rd Age Reforged YouTube channel. I would like to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join me in this strategically insignificant boxed canyon for another 3rd Age Reforged replay battle. Today I've got a 2 versus 2. This is mostly, I believe, to show off Unbar and just really kind of give you a sense of the faction and what it looks like and how cool it is and things like that. And this is actually sent in by Sin of the Dark Cloud, so a big thank you to one of our lead developers for promoting his own mod. In any case, let's take a look at some of his army comps here, and then we can jump into the replay itself. I hope you guys enjoy it. Naturally, the first army we're going to look at today is the Forces of Sin of the Dark Cloud, and he's going to be playing as Unbar. Pardon me. He's got a couple units of Corsair Blackguard, which is a Javelin unit that is, I believe, able to hide everywhere. He's also got some Crossbow Corsairs to the tune of 2 Crossbows Corsairs, 1 unit of the Casimir's Rangers. If you guys are new to the mod, Rangers have a very interesting projectile. It's a little bit of a fantasy/game balance contrivance, but their arrows pass through multiple opponents, so they are great at dealing with large numbers of unarmored or unshielded infantry. So against pikes in particular, like lower tier pikes, Rangers will absolutely devastate them. It's very possible for a unit like that to get a ton of kills if they are not shut down properly, countered quickly. Over here, got some Nmenrean Sentinels, very much an anvil, a really strong sticking point in the Unbar pike line. You're going to use them for inspiring your nearby troops and just for generally being a bunch of badass SOBs. Got a couple units, I believe, of the Arbazani Mardutarik who have their armor upgrade, so look a little bit different than they otherwise would. And they are macemen, and they can also form shield wall, so they've got a few uses there. They can play multiple roles depending on what you need. Of course, they're savages as well. Low tier shock infantry. They do exactly what you expect them to do: a lot of damage, and then they die. Over here we got some Arbazani Marduzagar who inspire and are a little. The Swordmaster units kind of fall into a continuum, with the Gondorians being the most armored but with the least damage, and then as the Arthurian ones with higher damage but less armor than the Gondorians, and then there's the Dalish Swordmasters of Karnan who inspire and have really high melee defense and really good attack, but they've got really low armor, and these guys are kind of like an infusion of the two. So they, when upgraded, they've got about 8 armor, but with their standard they've got about 6. They've got the same damage as the Gondorians, but they've got melee defense that's probably about nearly as high as the Dalish Swordmaster. So they're kind of like a mix of all of them kind of bunched into one thing. So they're more of a jack of all trades in that regard, I suppose. And behind we've got some Nmenrean Lancers, this is a model that you will not find anywhere else. It was done by the Reforged team, and it is flippin' phenomenal. It's really, really cool, and this unit is light cavalry, and they hit really hard on the charge. It's one of the few Nmenrean Lancers, actually it's the only Nmenrean Lancer unit that Unbar and Mordor can field. So they're only ever going to have one of them, and they are expensive, but they are really, really good. They're definitely worth the price. Moving on over here, we have the Warlords of Unbar, who are a knight unit. Now, I'm going to go over some of the basics here, just in case there are some new people watching. Knights are a combination of Lancer and Melee Cavalry. Melee Cavalry are good against other cavalry, but have a really weak charge. But Lancers have a good charge, but are weak against other cavalry. So these guys combine the 2 strengths, but have none of the weaknesses. So they're strong shot cavalry, 2 HP, quite low in number, and quite expensive. Over here we got some more Corsair Savages, another unit of Arbazani Mardutarik, and a unit of Nmenrean Royal Guard, which is a hybrid spearman/bow unit. It's also a General's Bodyguard with 2 HP. Naturally, it inspires units around them to do greater feats of courage. So, Sin of the Dark Cloud's army. Actually, we've missed a few things. Oh my god, got a lot of halberds out here in front, but largely it seems to be a holding force with a lot of skirmishing elements to it. So they kind of want people to break themselves upon their front line of nasty AP units while they shower them with arrows. Not the kind of shower you want to take. Moving on over here, we have his ally. This is Hung Lo, actually one of Sin of the Dark Cloud's buddies, and he's playing as Mordor. And this is, I think, the first time that he's played as Mordor. He doesn't play the mod a whole lot, so he's one of the newer players. So be gentle on him, comment section. It's okay. People are allowed to learn. Anyway, got some Orc Maulers here, and Nmenrean Lancers here. You can see the difference between them and the Unbar unit. These guys are silver, and they've got that green cape. And the idea being that they're based out of Minas Morgul. So they're going to kind of have that, it's like a bright, sickly, more pale armor with that green kind of glow in the way that Minas Morgul is described in the books. That's translated into this unit, so just a fun little fact for you. But yeah, Nmenrean Lancers, nothing really else to say there about them. Got some Olokai, however. Lost to save all the Olokai. This is the model I believe comes from Lord of the Rings Conquest, and it was ported over by our very own Crimson Bahelite, and it looks fantastic. Look, they're like these gigantic, like super muscular. It's like Arnold meets a crack addict meets a gorilla. It's really cool. Arnold in like the 1970s, by the way, not like current pudgy and flabby Arnold. Anyway, moving on over here, got some Blackwatch, or not Blackwatch Legion. Oh, they are the Black Legion of Barad-dûr, who are like the Blackwatch Legion, but not the Blackwatch Legion. They're a little bit larger. They've got about 80 more men, but their stats are lower, and they don't have quite as much armor. But they are able to form shield wall, a great pushing unit, and I believe they also inspire. So that's nice for Mordor's generally low morale. Got some Orc fodder here, just a low-tier spear unit. Got some Norian halberds out in front, looking real sexy. I believe the model here is an older one, but it's done by Jox, who actually works on the Rise of Mordor. Let's try that again. He actually works on the Rise of Mordor team, and so it is the kind of quality that you would expect from somebody involved in that kind of project. So really nice model there. Norian halberds. Get more Norian halberds. Some Orc Javies in behind. I believe he's got a couple units of Orc Javies. One unit of fodder. Another unit of Black Legion of Barad-dûr. I like saying that in a weird way. I don't know. Don't judge me. Temple Executioners. Actually, this is their upgrade model, and they're Nmenorians, and they're really sexy. That's kind of one of the things that Mordor has going for them, is that they've got a ton of numbers, and like their units are just kind of okay, but their high tier units are really, really good, and generally they're like a Nmenorian kind of ruling cast. I got some more Orc Maulers and some Temple Inquisitors with their armor upgrade as well, which is a high tier two-handed melee cavalry unit. So very, very nasty. And then last, but certainly not least, well, actually it's not last, but they're definitely not least, got the Melkor's Chosen. Real sexy. They're a warg unit, anti-cavalry, pretty decent charge value as well. They're definitely the tankiest of some of the wargs, so they've got a lot of survivability behind them. Got some Orc Maulers over here as well, and the Troll Drummers, which is a unit that, again, you will not find anywhere else. Reforged is the only mod that has these, because it was made by the Reforged team. And they're basically a morale buff stick. Keep them in the center of your army, and they will make sure that things have a very hard time routing. And that just about does it for the army comps. Let's go ahead. Actually, no, that's not the army comps. Let's go ahead and see what Team Red, the opposing team, have brought to the battle today. Across the field from Mordor, we have the forces of Khazad-dûm, and we're going to start. Actually, this I should say it first. This is being commanded by Lord Frodo, and we're going to start with this lonely Legion bodyguard who's kind of just sitting out here in no man's land. Looks like they got forgotten about. It's unfortunate. Sometimes it happens. But yeah, these guys are really good. They inspire units around them. So basically, if you mix these in with Khazad-dûm's high morale, your units are essentially unbreakable. They're not going anywhere with the Legion bodyguard watching over them. They're also 2 HP and able warriors in their own right. Then we move on to Cavalry, which is by far one of the least impressive parts of Khazad-dûm's roster. But actually, this is looking like where the general is going to be. That's Balin himself right there, mounted on horseback, which is... I have no words. That's real weird. But anyway, got some mercenary crossbowmen here. Really good for dealing with heavy cavalry. A couple units of mercenary cavalry as well, who are melee cav. And then we move on to the pride and joy of Khazad-dûm, that being their infantry. Got some First Legion pikes. Warriors of Khazad-dûm in the front lines. I think they're in shield wall. Maybe that's just how close they are together normally. A couple units of warriors of Khazad-dûm. Second line of the Third Legion, which is weird, conceptually kind of strange. And then the First Legion, and the unit of First Legion pikes acting kind of as Triaria in the back lines. Then we have Khazad-dûm Reclaimers, who are nasty. Nasty. They're also really strong AP shock troops after they toss their throwing axes, so not something that you want to mess with, for sure. Sons of the Fallen, currently a very strong unit, 2 units of Sons of the Fallen, and mostly it comes from one, how survivable they are, and 2, how much morale it gives to nearby units. So that's something that is going to change in the future, so that Khazad-dûm is not just constantly unbreakable all the time, always. But yeah, for the purposes of this battle, it's going to be really hard to get rid of Khazad-dûm. And then we have a Dwarven Catapult, which operates a little bit more differently. Should I just say differently? I don't know, English is hard. Than your average Catapult unit, because they will toss a clutch of 3 fireballs as opposed to just 1 fireball. So it's really nice. Tool for saturating the ground with catapult fire, and it's a little bit more deadly for that reason alone. Let me move on to the second dwarf faction, this one being commanded by the High Hawk. Did I get it? Is it enough highs there? Yeah, the High Hawk. And he's got some Ironfoot crossbowmen, 1, 2. He's also got some Ironfoot spears as his front line. I believe there's two units of Ironfoot spears in there, backed up by some Ironfoot halberds. We have some Ironfoot pikes in the third line, 2 units of Ironfoot pikes, so much. The airborne infantry force just goes on for days. Got airborne legionaries who are locked morale and inspire, and some Axe Guard of Erebor who are super sexy and have that really cool Hobbit model. And then in the back, we have the Ironfoot Wargoats, a couple units of Ironfoot Wargoats, and then Ironfoot Hammer Guard, who are extremely powerful. They are essentially melee knights. Do not underestimate them. They were a little bit weak previously, and just not really as good in, I think, 0.95 maybe they weren't as good, or maybe 0.96 they weren't as good, but they are essentially melee knights right now. So yeah, don't mess with them, especially if you're a cavalry unit. Then we got some Ironfoot Halberds and a Dwarven Catapult. So two Dwarven Catapults. That's gonna be a lot of fireworks. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the replay. Hope you guys enjoy it. And so, because of the presence of all of that artillery on the opposing side, it's gonna be on Mordor and Umbar to be the ones to move forward here and make the first move. So a lot of pew-pew going on here. A lot of Sin of the Dark Cloud skirmishing forces on the front line. And unfortunately, it's going to have to move some of his hidden units. So his Rangers, I believe, are on their way forward. So now the enemy knows that they have them. But Sin of the Dark Cloud very wisely, or savvy, I don't know. It's cunning. He's definitely keeping his crossbows hidden, because his Umbar army is quite sizable, and it's going to be really easy to be like, oh hey, yeah, this is totally all the army that they have. Oh, you see that Dwarven Catapult in action there? Really doing a number on these guys as they charge forward. This big blocky formation is it's going to be easy prey for them. Got some crossbow. One of the units of crossbow Crusaders moving over this way. Nmenrean Lancers on the Sin of the Dark Cloud actually getting broken. I don't know what broke them. 50 Nmenrean Lancers, 47 running for the hills. That is crazy. That is not something that you see every day, and I don't think Sin of the Dark Cloud was expecting that. But it looks like the Nmenrean Lancers are going to regain their courage, and we're going to see them try and avenge their disgrace. Over here on the front lines, the dwarves popping themselves into shield wall, preparing to receive this the charge here of all of these units. It's real nasty. I kind of want that as a screenshot. Ah, yes. Sin of the Dark Cloud getting ready to charge in there, but it looks like it's going to come down to a staring contest, which the dwarves have no patience for, so they're going to move forward. Charge into the Aberzenny Mardu Tariq. That'll be interesting. They'll push really far into the Aberzenny Mardu Tariq, but the Aberzenny Mardu Tariq are AP, so you don't want to mess with them. They're actually really strong against the dwarves. Meanwhile, over here, Bedlam is breaking loose. Shots from those catapults just ripping their way through Mordor and through Umbar, although now that they've managed to get in there, it's going to come down to an infantry fight, which honestly is a fight that the dwarves want. Although this isn't, is this all Umbar? No, this is only part of Hunglo's force, which is interesting, and the rest of them are going to be swinging wide around. Got some Orc Jabbies here, and a lot of the elites. This is really good play there on the part of Hunglo. Over here, the Mordor cavalry dealing with the mercenary cavalry of Frodo. Yeah, that's not good. Mercenary crossbow here with Balin in the mix. I assume they're going to be targeting down the Melkor's Chosen. Looks like the mercenary cavalry here going for a frontal engagement with the Nmenrean Lancers, trying to deal as much pain to them as possible. Although there's some friendly fire here, so that's not really the greatest kind of cav micro on the part of Frodo. I'm just gonna call him Frodo. I hate saying Frodo. Moving back to the main engagement. Things are going pretty well for the dwarves. Although out on the wing there is cause for concern. Down here in the center, things are not going great for Mordor. They're definitely understaffed. They've got some trolls and stuff here, so these units aren't going to rout. But yeah, the dwarves definitely have this in the bag. Over here, though, with the addition of halberds, that front line of Ironfoot spears is really struggling. I think some additions are going to be needed, so you can see the Ironfoot pikes are slowly inching their way forward. Well, that might just be in response to getting attacked in the flank by the Bellier halberds. Over here, however, Ironfoot pikes doing a number on the halberds, and of course our savages, they're going to have no chance against the pike units who have superior range, damage, and armor. Ooh, what do we got over here? Looks like the dwarves have been driven back from their own catapult piece. Sin the Dark Cloud doing his best with the Warlords of Unbar, taking a bite here out of the Erebor Legionaries. Ironfoot Wargoats being committed forward, but that's honestly not a good way to use your Ironfoot Wargoats. These are Lancers. The Hammer Guard are a much more effective answer to the Warlords of Unbar. Meanwhile, the Lancers might do okay against the Nmenrean Lancers. They were charging into the rear right now, and with the casualties that would inflict, they could probably win that fight. So it's unfortunate that they're not being used to their full effect. And they got some Axe Guard just kind of waiting out here in the middle of no man's land, just asking to get run over by those Nmenrean Lancers. But we'll see what happens. Nmenrean Royal Sentinels driving back the Dwarven Cavalry. Airborne Legionaries down to a meager 32 in one unit. Although, if those pikes really move forward and don't leverage the range in their formation, they're going to run into a bit of a problem here. The Airborne Legionaries, of course, can also form shield walls, so I guess the pikes is a pretty good answer. Nmenrean Lancers being driven off. We've still got some more reserves here. The Axe Guard of Airborne. Now might be a good time to draw them forward. Ironfoot Halberds here. Opportunity to go against some of the Corsair Blackguards before they move in and really take a bite at some of these important units like the Airborne Legionaries, or before they go after the Cavalry. Yeah, the Dwarven player doesn't really seem to be on top of it here. They're just kind of lagging around, not really doing a whole lot, and I think that's going to cost them against a player like Sin. Over here, got some Axe Guard of Airborne charging in to the Bellier Halberds, who are not in the greatest formation. Oh, that's going to be game over. That's going to hurt. You know, in the center, the Ironfoot Spears are actually holding their ground. Really a testament to the Dwarven infantry's prowess. And another unit of Airborne Legionaries over here. What do you know? A third unit of Airborne Legionaries. Sons of the Fallen mixed in here with the rest of the Khazad-dûm infantry. They are putting the hurt on Mordor. But Mordor still has a few cards to play at this point. Although, what do you know? We missed the Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm. So they did have some bow units here after all, but they're now out of ammunition. And they're fairly decent infantry after the fact. We got in the back here. Hung Low still has a ton of his Mordor or Melkor's Chosen. The Khazad-dûm Reclaimers and the Legion Bodyguard getting charged down by Temple Inquisitors. The Dwarven Catapult now effectively being silenced by Hung Low's Nmenrean Lancers. Nmenrean Crossbows here just giving it to these Temple Inquisitors as they flee, and that is not good. The crossbows, especially at close range like this, they are an effective counter to unshielded units like that that heavily rely on their armor. So the Melkor's Chosen also maybe the target of the tender mercies of the mercenary crossbowmen. But the infantry fight, yeah, it's really in their favor, but the cavalry fight has not gone in the dwarves' favor at all, which is kind of what you would expect. Now, the Dwarven players, or the Dwarven factions, don't have a ton of cavalry options. Khazad-dûm has even less than is normal. Khazad-dûm Reclaimers being committed to the front lines. This is game over for Mordor's infantry unless they can do something quickly with their cavalry. Airborne Legionaries fresh from a victory, moving against the Orc fodder here, looking to roll up not just Mordor, but also Sin's line as well. Got those Javies doing a number on the Axe Guard of Erebor. I think they're also being shot by some Ironfoot crossbowmen in the back here, so these Corsair Blackguards. They're pretty exposed up here on the hill. I don't think they're going to be able to do the damage that they want to the Axe Guard of Erebor. Over here, Corsair Savages, Nmenrean Royal Guard. Still, these Ironfoot Spears hold on. You can really see the power of Spears here. It's holding the line. They don't do a lot of damage, but damn can they hold. What we got here? Castamir's Rangers coming in from the rear. Ooh, a nice play on the part of Sin. Firing into the rear of those Ironfoot Spears, that's going to do a lot of damage. Even though the damage of the Castamir's Rangers is much lower than the armor value of the Ironfoot Spears, there's a lot of opportunities there for units to get hit. And even a 1 damage arrow is important to know. A 1 damage arrow can kill like a 40 armor unit. It's just a matter of getting lucky. And for crossbowmen being silenced by the Warlords of Unbar. This is not good for them. And the lack of cavalry support here in the back lines. I don't know what happened with the Ironfoot goat people, but it seems like they got destroyed. I don't know where the Hammer Guard are at this point. Axe Guard of Erebor doing all right here against the Corsair Blackguards. That is a fight that I would expect him to win, but I think Sin of the Dark Clouds moving in with his Warlords of Unbar, and he's going to finish off this fight once and for good. Yeah, with his Warlords and with his Nmenrean Lancers, that's going to be a 1-2 punch. It's going to send these guys screaming off the battlefield straight back to wherever it is that they come from. Holes in the ground, probably. That's what I hear, anyway. Crossbow Corsairs here, matched with the Rangers on the flank. They're going to put the hurt on the victorious Dwarven infantry. And this is really what Sin wanted. His skirmishing forces are the main killing power of his army, and yeah, the rest of his infantry was really just there to hold. Ooh, Dwarven catapults firing at Mordor as they move forward. Mordor still has so much left over, but so does Khazad-dûm. Look at Khazad-dûm's army. It's still in really good shape. Erebor is kind of holding on, but Khazad-dûm is really doing it. And there's actually a big disparity here in terms of percentages killed. It's like nearly a 10% difference. Got some Khazad-dûm Reclaimers coming in from behind against Umbar's army too. So they're doing to Sin's army what Sin is doing to Khazad-dûm's ally. This is going to be a tough one. Dwarven infantry ain't no joke. A little bit of routing here. Ironfoot Halberds and Spearmen fleeing in the face of Sin's victorious army. But Casimir's Rangers, I think they're out of ammunition. A lot of ammo was expended breaking this Dwarven wing. So it remains to be seen if he's going to have the ammo left that he needs on certain key units to deal with Khazad-dûm's very healthy forces. Crossbow Corsairs here just putting the hurt onto the Ironfoot crossbowmen. Hey, the longer they can stay there, the more ammo they can soak up. They're doomed at this point, but although these guys could potentially retreat if they wanted to. Don't know if they'd get away, though. Not with those Nmenrean Lancers haranguing them the entire time. Yeah, but Khazad-dûm really needs to get their act together here in the post-game. This is going to be for all the marbles. If they can quickly deal with Mordor and prevent themselves from being enveloped on two sides, then they can win this. Like, they've got the troops. They just need to pick the right forces to send over here to aid Erebor, and I think that they'll be okay. They should be able to avoid an encirclement, because Synod of the Dark does not have a lot of his army left. It's mostly his skirmishers. The infantry died. They died in the Crucible here on the front lines against the Dwarven infantry. So, yeah, it's really going to be down to Khazad-dûm to play this well. They still got a shot here. Let's see what's going on. The Black Legion of Barad-dûr are trying to push. They're actually not really effectively pushing their way through here. And this is a mistake that I made and that I've seen in 2 separate videos now. Is that people forget to put them into shield wall. They have shield wall for a reason. You need to use it, otherwise they're not as effective as you need them to be, and they're not worth the fairly large price tag that they have. So bear that in mind. Let's see what we got in the back here. Nmenrean Inquisitors and Lancers running down some of the Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm. Orc Javelins coming in from behind. Still got the Temple Inquisitors. Oh man, they need to destroy these Black Legion of Barad-dûr, as if there's a difference. And deal with them quickly so that they can destroy this pocket of Mordor elites and javelins over here. Otherwise, those Jav is going to come in, and it's going to be real ugly indeed. They've got some 3rd Legion infantry over here, and they've probably got a few reserves that they could use. The Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm plus the 3rd Legion might be enough to... They'd certainly be enough to destroy the Orc Javies and tie them up. I guess the Temple Inquisitors, it would not go so well, but they need something. They need to do something there to keep those units from destroying them. Ironfoot crossbowmen getting charged in the rear by the Warlords of Unbar, who are looking pretty worse for wear at this point. Crossbow Corsairs being used to great effect here to destroy these crossbowmen. The Ironfoot crossbows, however, are holding on. A testament to Dwarven valor. Reinforcements coming in the form of the Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm, and they're going to be chasing down those Warlords of Unbar. The Warlords of Unbar are not going to get their charge off, and they're going to receive the full brunt of that charge from the Khazad-dûm Orc Hunters. You can actually see 1 or 2 of the Warlords there falling. That did not pan out well for Sin of the Dark Cloud. Actually, 3 of them died. Now they're going to be able to give chase and potentially silence those crossbow Corsairs, which is really what's needed. Those Ironfoot crossbows will be able to pull that back. Meanwhile, Erebor is victorious, and they'll be able to move in and support their ally. Legion Bodyguard, still very healthy from Frodo. Nasty unit indeed. They're going to be going after the crossbow Corsairs. Narnar Sentinels trying to move in, maybe form like a flimsy front line to support these guys. I don't think Sin of the Dark Cloud sees the slow, plodding danger moving towards his crossbow Corsairs, but I'm sure he'll notice it. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Meanwhile, crossbow Corsairs getting engaged by the Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm, but they're getting charged down by the Warlords of Unbar, getting a little bit of revenge there. Mordor Cavalry coming in to support. Realcourse Chosen doing their thing. But of course that means that the Cavalry is not being used elsewhere. Which means that there's an opportunity here that the Khazad-dûm player is not taking advantage of. Oh no, where's his 3rd Legion? Yeah, something needs to be done to stop these Orc Javies, or they're just going to massacre everything. Ah! Ooh, that's what the Erebor General right there. Oh wow, that was really a waste. That was like a full javelin volley that did nothing. Hunglo definitely needs to he's definitely going to need to move these guys forward if he's going to win this fight against Khazad-dûm, because they've got the Black Legion penned in here against 1st Legion pikes, and there's so many of them left. Dead even though in terms of percentages. The blue team is pulling it back, but for how much longer, really? Although crossbow Corsairs still have ammo. I think they still have ammo. Oh man, those 1st Legion Bodyguard got destroyed. And there goes the Erebor General. Nice charge from the rear there against the Dwarven infantry. The Legion Bodyguard aren't going to run, though. I believe they're locked morale anyway. But yeah, that was a really strong unit. Look at the damage that was done to them. Like, on the approach, that's a really strong unit. Very unfortunate. I think now would be a good time to move back with the Airborne Legionaries. Or maybe, I don't know, I guess you could commit, but these crossbow Corsairs are a real problem. As is that Cavalry, so it might be a better idea to move back towards his ally. But yeah, Mordor over here has been completely destroyed. There's really nothing left of Mordor. The last of the Black Legion of Barad-dûr routing off. Now there's all this infantry to deal with. I don't know if Umbar is going to be able to do this. I mean, with the crossbow Corsairs, that's the key to this. The key to victory is those crossbow Corsairs. So if Erebor can destroy one unit of them or something like that, then maybe they're going to have a good chance here at winning this fight. Even with all those extra cavalry, Airborne Legionaries just taking it from the crossbow or from the Inquisitors, really no problem for them to do that. Let's see what we got over here. Mercenary crossbowmen. I would definitely target the Warlords of Unbar as the obvious choice here. Ooh, a nasty charge into the Airborne Legionaries. What are these guys doing? I can't tell what they're shooting at. I think it's the Warlords though. A small unit like this is really easy to miss too. Send of the Dark Cloud might have seen it. I think he's going to move forward slowly through the stakes. That's what you want to. That's what you want to do. You can actually go through stakes of cavalry as long as you don't run. If you run, you will impale yourself and die. It'll be hilarious, but yeah. Let's see what we got here. I don't know if Umbar and Mordor are going to be able to pull this out. There's still so much left from Khazad-dûm. A lot of Sons of the Fallen here. A lot of these like First Legion pikes and stuff. Although Hunglo is doing a great job here at making them chase. These guys are out of ammunition. These guys, however, are not. And while they're not the best Javies, it might be enough. We'll see. What's going on with Erebor here? Getting reinforced by the Sons of the Fallen. Morale is definitely doing a lot better here. Crossbow Corsairs from Sin out of ammunition. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I think this is going to be a Dwarven victory. Really good play though on the part of the attackers. And I gotta say, the dwarves did make some mistakes, but they used the dwarven infantry reasonably well, and it really does show just how strong that they can be as a faction. I think we've done a good job with them, and that's really reflected in the video today. Oh no! Sin of the Dark Clouds General. What shame! What shame! Let's see. First Legion pikes carving their way through that out of ammunition orc Javi unit. Meanwhile, the other one is just showering them. With a fear-causing unit nearby taking damage to this, I'm not surprised that they are shaken. Ooh, nice charge there. Especially with some Melkor's chosen. 2 fear-causing units. Another javelin volley, maybe they would have been able to rout them, but I think these guys are now out of ammunition. Still a very close battle, 94 to 92. That ain't no joke. So the Dark Clouds Cavalry, all that remains of it is being brought to bear against the First Legion. Hopefully trying to rout them, maybe. Let's see how this works out. Not so well. I mean, they killed some of them, but I don't think this is going to be enough to rout the First Legion. They're very good. Very high morale, very well trained. But while we're in the last few moments here, let's really take a look at the carnage. Let's just pan across the battlefield here. Look at the fights that took place and the ones that are still going on. Nmenrean Royal Pikes and I think some of the Royal Guard engaging what remains of the Sons of the Fallen there. All along the line here, just dead trolls, dead dwarves. A really good high energy battle. There's still a lot left though. Where's the other 6,000 frames come from, I wonder? Oh wow, they actually managed to break the First Legion. No way! No way. I did not see that coming. Really nice teamwork there. That has paid some serious dividends. The First Legion pikes now annihilated. And it leaves a fair amount of Dwarven infantry still left over. Sons of the Fallen. I don't know how they're going to beat the Sons of the Fallen, honestly. Erebor has almost nothing left. I got some pikes and I think some infantry. Ooh, like one lone axe guard here. The lone survivor of his entire regiment. Ooh, a rear charge. That would be what was needed. What would be needed. Let's see how that works for them. No, they're going to turn around and countercharge, and it's not going to be quite as powerful as Sin of the Dark Cloud needs it to be at this late point in the game. Warlords of Unbar are very tired, want to get out of there since the Fallen before they start to fall. I think one of them died. Ooh, yeah, I got to be real careful there about those stakes. Does someone have hidden units somewhere? Like, how can there be like 4,000 frames left in this? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here. It's gonna be a lot of cycle charging. Let's see the Sons of the Fallen really taking it. Orc Javi's moving in as reinforcements. Well, there's one Warlord of Unbar left. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe they got impaled or something. That'd be really funny. Well, Sons of the Fallen said defeat was certain, but honestly, I don't see them being grinded down. Although, oh no way. No way. A full health unit of Temple Inquis Executioners. They're gonna do this. Oh my god. That's a really elite unit, and I don't think that these units are up to the task. Maybe if they can destroy all these remaining orc units and stop getting cycle charged and stuff, and get rid of the cavalry, they might have a chance, possibly. But it doesn't look like they're gonna have that opportunity. Airborne needs to stay with their ally, though. Those Temple Executioners are fear-causing. They're exhausted, and their general is missing. It's very probable that they will rout. Yeah, they're already shaken, as you would expect. And as the casualties begin to mount, these guys they're gonna flee. Yeah, definitely. This was not a good idea. But the rest of the Umbar, well, for the most part, the Umbar forces are destroyed. The Orc forces are gone. It's really just down to these last couple units here. Fierce fighting between bitter enemies. Yeah, sorry about that. My game is in French. Temple Executioners, they're doing okay. Sons of the Fallen are actually holding the line pretty well. Probably because the Temple Executioners are exhausted, but everyone is exhausted at this point. This is really late into the battle. Is it just 2,000 frames of nothing but this? Oh my goodness! So the balanced forces is evenly matched. Sin of the Dark Cloud's general still pouring in there. Sons of the Fallen doing okay. No real sense. I think now is a good time to just pull these guys out of there and use them against Temple Executioners. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on 6 times speed here. This is it's really just like a grind fest between two really tanky infantry units. So, and they're gonna do it. Mordor and Umbar. They're gonna come back, and really, if it wasn't for the loss of those First Legion pikes, I think the dwarves would have won this, even with Temple Executioners still around. Wow, that is a real nice turnaround. There we go. The last Dwarven player is going to admit defeat. Really well played, especially look at the kills on the Casa Doom side of things. Like that's huge. Although admittedly, Umbar has significantly less numbers than Mordor, as you'd expect. But yeah, really nicely done. Let's take a look at some of the casualties there. I know I sometimes forget this. Look at that. Warlords of Unbar, Nmenrean Lancers, Casimir's Rangers, a lot of nice kills there. Crossbow Corsairs really... Like, you can see where the killing power of Sin's army was. It was not his infantry. The infantry did relatively poorly. Even the Abruzani Nardutari did not do well. They got butchered, actually, which is surprising. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you'll join me for whatever comes next, which on the official channel, there might be some replays, or there might be another episode of Rise of the Witch King, which I am starting work on right now. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.